Can you believe it? This is my 20th year on the road in the world of coaching and facilitation. And I thought I'd like to just share some stories with you, simple stories, lessons, insights, comedy, humor that have emerged from these 20 years on the road. I suppose a good starting point is the name. When I was leaving corporate world to start my own business, you obviously begin with a name. What's this going to be called? I can remember thinking for a couple of weeks, what should I call this thing that I want to go into? I'd always been fascinated, and still am, with a parable that Jesus told about a guy who finds treasure in a field. And he's so excited with the treasure, he goes and sells everything else. And for some reason, this story had gripped me, because this notion of, is it possible that every single day you and I walk over treasure? Is it possible that in the working world there is treasure within the people we work with, but we just don't know it's there? And so this idea emerged of finding the gold. And if somebody finds a piece of gold in a field, they don't just take it and run away. Like the parable, they go back to that place because there must be more. So that's where the name Gold Digger Change Catalyst Agency came from. But I also didn't really think it through too much, because there's another side to Gold Digger which I actually didn't really even know much of. So when I would introduce myself as coming from Gold Digger, people would sometimes look at me and say, "Hey, what's this company all about?" And then I would tell them the story. Hey, there's a wealth of gold to be discovered if only you're curious. And they would get it. It really worked and it didn't work. So sometimes the suspicion was great, and I think people maybe wrote the company and me off. But I remember one day getting a phone call from this guy, and he said, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I forgot your name, but I remembered the name of your organization." And that guy became he was the CEO of an organization, has become one of my long-standing customers over 19, 18 years. So I suppose the lesson is there's unintended delights and difficulties that emerge from any of our decisions. And then sometimes, about 6-7 years ago, we knew we had to morph the name, and that's where Cafe Life came from. But we'll get to that on another little story. So that was the start, coming up with a name which worked, which didn't work, but hey, it's part of the story.